So just to take a step back, because you and I have known each other for a long time. You're a man of faith. You're a man of God. You're a man of family. With some of these nominees, Gates, Hegseth, RFK Jr., I wonder, does it matter anymore for Republicans to think of leaders as people who are moral in their personal lives? Is that still important to the Republican Party?
Sure. It's an important issue for anyone in leadership. This is what I'll say about the nominees that the president has put forward, is that they are persons who will shake up the status quo. And I think what the American people have believe and what they've delivered with the mandate in this election is a demand that we shake up the status quo. It's not working for the American people. So use the term in the opening about how these are disruptors. They are. I think that's by design. Any president has the right to name their own cabinet, to nominate persons that they think will fulfill their agenda. And the people that are on this list will do that. They will go into the agencies that they're being asked to lead, and they will reform them. These agencies need reform. And I think the vast majority of the American people understand that. You can't have status quo appointments in a moment like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you know, Mika, the thing is, nobody's denying that President Trump won. He won in a convincing way across much of America. He has the right to put his own people in. The Senate has the right, though, to advise and consent.
Right.
And that's exactly what the Senate's going to do. But this is not a question of whether Donald Trump has a right to put in whomever he wants to put in. The question is whether those people will end up serving Donald Trump and serving America in a positive way. And there are several picks, again, 3 picks right now, that are causing deep concern. Again, not among the left, not among independents, but among Republicans. I mean, Senate Republicans are horrified by the Tulsi Gabbard selection, by the DOD selection, and, of course, by the Attorney General selection, and they're going to advise and consent. I will just say, though, you know, I don't know Mike Johnson, and Jake Tapper said he's known him for a long time. I don't know him. I haven't met him, but I will tell you there were a lot of people like Mike Johnson that would come up to me when I was in Congress eating breakfast with my children on a Saturday morning, yelling, how in the world can a man without character be president of the United States? In fact, it was universal among Republicans. How can you let Bill Clinton stay in office? God is going to condemn this country, blah, blah, blah. It was nonstop. And now you have people going, oh, character doesn't matter. There are people who wrote books on character, on virtues, that suddenly go, oh, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter, or does it not matter? Because I'll tell you what, you can't say it matters 4 years from now if a Democrat or an independent is president of the United States, because you're not saying it now. And again, we're being presented a false choice here by people going, oh, the president needs to put disruptors in. Of course the president's going to put disruptors in. He's a disruptor. But you can put disruptors in there that don't have these type of questions hanging over them that, again, in the end, not only will not serve the United States well, but will not serve the administration or the incoming president well. It's that simple.